we're setting up the stream. Going live, setting up. We're setting up the stream, setting. There's no music for the stream. That's pre-recorded because then the thing might get copyright strikes and get taken down. And we want a VOD of this for ever and ever, as long as everyone's around. We're setting up the stream now. Setting up that stream, woo-hoo, yeah, yeah. Setting up the stream now. Setting up the stream, yeah, yeah. Woo-hoo, doo-doo, la-da-da-da-da-da. Ambrose J, Worse for Wear, welcome to Nothingness. We are currently in progress getting things set up here. We are gonna be Let's actually move. Can we move that down? No. Okay. Goals. Goals. That doesn't help. Goals. Okay. And methods, methods, just methods. Ooh, just methods. We're setting up the stream right now. Putting a lot of signs down. Getting ready now, anyhow. Setting up the stream right now. Boom, 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 boom. Before we get going and NJ joins the call, a few things to let folks know. One, weather in Nashville is still very cold. I was outside today to take out the trash and the recycling. It's windy, it's cold, but it is bearable. We are fortunate. We've had a few power fluctuations, but we have not lost power for any extended period of time. Unlike some people in town who went like a day and a half. So we're very grateful for that. Everybody working at Nashville Electric Service is working crazy 16-hour shifts, and they are deeply appreciated. But yeah, y'all don't need to worry about us. We have been, we prepped in advance, and we've been fortunate. So let's go ahead and welcome everyone. Frog and Frog, Pepper Basenji, Kevin Rodeo, Iconic Anemone, Silver Star, welcome the Nothingness, welcome Sir Rose Wolf Eagle, welcome Unky for Donkey, Jazzy Bluebird, Caitlin 987, Squatchosaurus, Padawan S, Jade the Jester, Chili Amber, welcome Emerald Marauder, Crystalli 3, Minnie Zoekins, glad to see you, Lady Ooh Long, Docs, Namin, and Comic Sads, glad to see y'all. Okay, welcome Spacey Milk, glad you could join us. Okay. If you've never seen one of our quarterly planning streams before, we have a traditional structure that we normally follow where we try to map out the next quarter. And let me go ahead and pull things up here on my computer. Computers are the place that we store all the things that are gonna tell us what we need to bring to the table. Okay. So, we would normally set up a calendar thing that's okay, NJ. Welcome, NJ. Glad you could join us. Can you hear me now?
I can. Sorry for the delay. Apparently my computer needed a restart. So, timing.
We were still getting set up. I was just explaining to folks that traditionally, the way that we would set this up is we would post signs for the next 3 months. Although in practice, it ends up being one of those things where we end up marking out maybe the next 6 months, just because realistically I'll be like, ooh, what about this? Oh, wait, we can't do that till my kid leaves for the summer. Let's put that in June. But what we primarily worry about is the next 3 months in terms of our goals for that particular stream. And we go ahead and we want to have things that we are going to celebrate.
Mm-hmm.
We are going to have things that we are going to want to, or folks we want to benefit.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be like charities and stuff. Things we want to try. And meetups. Now, this has been a pretty productive way to do this. There's nothing wrong with that formula, but we're going to go a little bit broader on this particular stream. So let's go ahead and take down the setting up now sign, and slide me a little bit off to the side here. Just as a reminder, we are only 19 away from our next face camera expansion milestone. Tips are welcome via paypal.me/JoeHills and YouTube Super Chat. So let's go ahead and jump right in. Before we get started, though, I need to say welcome to my project manager, NJCoffeeJunkie. NJ has been helping me since I went full-time on YouTube with planning that full-time launch, helping me define roles for other staff members and find great candidates for that, and basically working on a lot of what would be considered non-community facing stuff. That Tommy Boy is our community liaison, and Yurgi and Toxic Glitter run 2 of our servers. Queen Dark Lady is right now our only person in the role of pure moderator. And basically, those 4 folks are more on the community-facing side of the house. So NJ is more business-facing, and Tommy, Yurgi, Toxic, and Queen Dark Lady are more community-facing, if that makes any sense. Okay. So if y'all haven't heard much about NJ, that's because NJ and I primarily do our work behind the scenes. These quarterly meetings are opportunity 4 times a year. Welcome, Safe Haven. The meetings with NJ on these calls are opportunities 4 times a year for us to kind of touch base with the community and make sure that we kind of do a public-facing sanity check on my decision making. Now, you know, for example, February 2026, we go to celebrate, and it's like, obviously Mardi Gras is on the 17th. Obviously Valentine's Day is on the 14th. We've got Black History Month. What else do we have in February? You know, we could go back to last February and see what we had put there. But, you know, I'm just going to kind of quickly run you guys through our process. We're not actually trying to brainstorm. March is obviously Marching Band Day. Just kidding. It's St. Patrick's Day.
Yes, St. Patrick's Day is in March.
Day. Spring Break Woo is going to be in March. You know, April, we've got April Fool's Day. I think HermitCraft's birthday might be in April.
I think that's right.
I should look that up at some point. You know, that sort of thing.
I'm looking now.
Oh, yeah, Ides of March. It's funny, some of you guys who haven't been watching the stream may not know this, but my first marriage actually ended when I was served divorce papers on the Ides of March. And I called up my friend who's a custody attorney, and I was like completely surprised. I had no idea this was coming. And I'm just like, oh man, I don't know. I'm just going to associate the Ides of March with betrayal from now on. And, you know, so it kind of ruined the holiday for me. But you know what? We bounced back. We're resilient here.
Joe?
Yeah.
April 12th.
What's April 12th?
HermitCraft's
birthday. Yeah, I got there. Groundhog Day. Yep, Groundhog Day needs to go on the board. Yep, good point.
Yes. Oh, good call. Gamers Outreach.
What about Gamers Outreach? Oh, Mini Zoekins. Oh, that's not a celebration though. So that would be under benefit. So yeah, Gamers for Giving weekend. I don't know what role I'm gonna have in that this year. So we don't want to get ahead of ourselves on that. But that is something we need to be aware of, is that Gamers for Giving weekend is every April. NJ, do you have any charity stuff coming up in February or March that we want to promote?
To be honest, I have not planned anything. In fact, I'm not even sure if I will be able to have my normal birthday charity event.
That was why I was
because
asking.
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know if because I usually do a charity event on the 5th, and I couldn't do it last year because I had my final. This year, because I'm starting this new job, I don't know if I'm going to be able to take off.
Okay.
I'm going to try, though.
That's fair. Well, even if you end up doing something on a weekend, hit me up. And was that?
It would most likely be that weekend, yeah.
That
if
would
nothing
be
else.
the weekend of March 5th or February 5th, or sorry, which month was it?
It would be the weekend of May 3rd.
May 3rd. Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is how you.
NJ,
this is how you can remember my birthday, Joe.
It's
my birthday. Cinco de Mayo.
I've got a poster. I've got a Cinco de Mayo poster, NJ. I've got a poster with the map. Have you seen the Cinco de Mayo poster, the Tour de Cinco poster?
I have seen the Cinco de Mayo tour poster, and I low-key kind of want one because it's adorable.
Well, there's only 3 in existence.
Then no. But I have the picture you showed, so that's fine.
Sorry.
No, what are you sorry about? It was a great idea.
People are saying for March, what about Tennessee Game Days? That goes under meetups.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So TGD 26th through 29th, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So we're just kind of speed running this wall to kind of showcase what the expectations are before we actually get in the weeds of this. We're doing the low-hanging fruit. We're just throwing stuff up there real quick to indicate
We're starting slow.
We're starting slow. So celebrate. What are events that might come up that we might want to incorporate somehow into community events with my Patreon community, into episodes, into all sorts of things, right? So for example, some years I do a big St. Patrick's Day stream, or we might do a Groundhog Day movie watch or something.
That would be good.
We've got a community build contest in February. Yep, that's true. But let's roll back a second.
That's all right.
Robbie S80, I'm not gonna do that. If there's a lot of good reasons to do charity events remotely, or if we were to do them in person, there would be sponsors that could possibly fly me there. I would not accept money from somebody offering to fly me to a Gamers Outreach event, because either it wouldn't be an in-person event, or there would be someone taking care of that who's like a major sponsor, not like an individual community member. So I appreciate the offer, Robbie, but just save that money for giving to Gamers Outreach directly if that's something you want to do later, whether or not I'm involved.
It's a wonderful gesture.
It is a wonderful gesture. I appreciate it, but don't worry about that. So anyway, we don't have anything announced or locked down for Gamers for Giving weekend, but honestly, I don't feel too bad about February and March being kind of empty on the benefit front, because that, if something were to be happening in April, would be prep and lead up time for that. So that's okay. That's okay.
We're not even in a leap year.
Yeah. Okay, so in terms of meetups, my convention schedule this year is TGD and then PlayOnCon in like either late June or early July. They haven't announced dates yet. But basically, I've got 2 meetups scheduled, and that's all I can afford unless I get invited by a convention to attend. But That has
It
been.
wouldn't surprise me if it was July 4th weekend again.
It wouldn't surprise me, but Mr. Lamb says, can't forget everybody's favorite holiday, April 15th. Oh, yeah, tax day. That's a fun one.
Yeah.
Let's put that on there.
Good
Tax
grief.
day.
Yeah, I'll talk to Manatee about going to PlayOnCon this year if we can swing it.
Well, you know, Art is going to be the PlayOnCon president this year.
No, I didn't.
Yeah,
really?
Yep. So he's in charge of the theme. So I am going to be helping organize some of the events at PlayOnCon this year. But
oh my gosh, then
we
should
don't
see
need
if
to
we
get
can go.
into that right now. That's 6 months down the line. That's out of scope for this call.
Well, I know, but I have to. It's something I have to think about going forward. Yeah. Like it's something I need to put on the calendar for me. So
okay,
I'll keep it in mind.
This is all. Continue. Okay, so we've been speed running this, guys, just so I can kind of show you in broad strokes how these calls usually go, right?
Mm-hmm.
However, one row we haven't looked at yet is the try row. And that is, what am I going to experiment with each month? And that is actually going to be, I think, the main purpose of this call is we've kind of sorted out how to do the other stuff. I know how to go to Tennessee Game Days. I know how to go to PlayOnCon. I've run events at PlayOnCon. I hang out with people at Tennessee Game Days. You know, the Gamers for Giving stuff, if that happens this year, that's not something that is going to be new or surprising. That's something that we'll have done for years. You know, we can sort that as we go.
Yeah, of course.
So that is not something we need to focus on tonight. These other things, celebrating the events and stuff. Some of this stuff is going to be done behind the scenes, coordinating with my staff. And some of this is going to be stuff that ends up incorporated into Minecraft videos, live streams, or other game streams. You know, maybe it's funny if April 15th we do a tax and accounting video game live stream. I don't know. But that is really more of a production task. And so I want to take a second and we're going to zoom out here. And I opened this year on HermitCraft, not this season, but this year, with an episode about New Year's resolutions and kind of the differences between business goals and personal goals, and like personal aspirations versus measurable corporate aspirations. And I wanted to talk a little bit about where I'm at on figuring out what goes in this try row. This try row is basically going to take up the entire call. And because all of the other things are solved problems. And
I'm ready for it.
By definition, is the unsolved problems. Okay? So we've got a separate board over here. I just invented this, NJ. I call it the Intentions, Goals, and Methods board. Okay? So if I had an intention, make good videos and publish them at least once a week, right? That sounds like a goal. In fact, it's very close to a goal, but it's not from a business standpoint. To make something a SMART goal, it needs to be something measurable,
specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, time specific.
Okay. So basically, there's some things in here that might be missing. What is the process? What is the method to accomplish this? Make good videos and publish them once a week. Okay, so I think the big thing is that the word good isn't specific enough, right?
It's not because good is subjective. You want if you're gonna make a SMART goal, you want it to be objective. So how do you want to change that to make it objective?
I'm going to say maintain a high tempo of video of HC, specifically HC video output, without more ads or compromises. Without compromises, let's say.
That's better.
Right. Now, the thing is, in order to do this, I think I need to make the videos shorter. But, which doesn't,
Yes, I remember
which
you mentioning
sounds
that.
like a compromise. But what I've realized is talking to a lot of people, the videos were the right length for when they were working for home, but they're too long now for their current workday anyway. So we're going to say maintain, okay, create shorter videos more frequently. Okay.
Close.
At least once per week.
There you go.
Okay.
So I'm sure that you've realized that the goal time-wise is roughly about 30 minutes.
Yeah, 15 to
because
30.
that's the average lunch break. Yeah, 15 to 30 minutes.
Create shorter videos at least weekly. Without more ads. I feel like that doesn't need to be said, but some of the other stuff. Joju says, have you considered sitcom length 22 to 25 minutes? Yeah, that's right in there between 15 and 30. Yes. So
yeah,
we have inclusively considered 22 to 25 minutes as a target. The idea is if I shoot for a 20-minute video and it ends up 5 minutes short, we still publish a 15-minute video if it is a coherent whole. But if it's 30 minutes, okay, fine.
Yeah.
So.
And also it will hopefully save you hours upon hours of editing, because you'll be able to it kind of forces you to tell the story you're telling within that time frame.
Okay. So here's the biggest problem is when we look at, is this reasonable or realistic for our R? I have had the goal.
Is it relevant?
Well,
R is relevant, Joe.
Okay, is it attainable then?
Yes, that's the one. Yeah, that's the word you're looking for. Yes.
So let's talk
about, is it attainable?
Let's talk about attainability. Now, we've already added shorter. That's new. For the last, I would say, 4 or 5 years, I've really struggled to get into a good headspace for editing and maintaining a good production pipeline. Something just kind of faltered. And I know exactly when it happened, actually. It like things were kind of off for a little while, but what really stumbled me was TFC's passing. And I just kind of got into a weird headspace about, like, what are we doing and why? And I started overthinking a lot of things. And even though that's not necessarily in the front of my mind, every time I sit down to edit now, some of the bad habits or we can kind of get into a weird place when we're grieving and not realize if we're entirely out of it. I'm trying to look at a lot of things. I have a lot of habits that I got into during the pandemic that I didn't even realize I was still doing. you know, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
trying to be more attentive and get out of those. And so I'm like, okay, I
Mm-hmm.
need to
Takes
revisit.
time.
Yeah, I need to revisit my entire production pipeline. So, okay, instead of create shorter videos more, at least weekly, maybe what we need to do is define and execute a revised production pipeline.
That's very specific.
Okay, actually, you know what? Revise production pipeline.
There you go.
Revise prod pipeline
Mm-hmm.
and revise prod pipeline to create more videos, more vids, 15 to 30 min long. Right. This
Mm-hmm.
feels like we're getting closer. Okay, so
Because you
attainable.
are.
If I've had the intention of make good videos and publish them at least once a week for the last few years, but the production pipeline keeps faltering at certain specific steps. So to make this attainable, we need to revise that production pipeline. So you said R was relevant. Okay, this is the
Mm-hmm.
business. This is relevant. We don't need to justify that. And is it timely? Well, I think it is. I think it is timely. I think, or
Yeah.
time sensitive.
It is.
This is
It
something that,
is. No. You're right.
you know, we can, by using an experimental version of a refined production pipeline, I was able to get 3 episodes out last week. You know, really one of them was out, well, last week in terms of the HermitCraft recap week, Friday to Friday, which is, of course, how everyone's calendars are labeled. But, no, I mean, basically, the last HermitCraft recap, they had 3 Joe Hills videos to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was
Yeah.
implementing some things that I started brainstorming earlier. So, the question is, in terms of, is this measurable? Revise production pipeline and create weekly plus vids 15 to 30 minutes long. Okay. Is this measurable? In theory, yes.
That's measurable in my eyes, yes.
But here is the biggest, method. Brainstorm changes.
Mm-hmm.
Brainstorm refinements, brainstorm tweaks. Let's say revise pipeline. We did that. We experimented with the revised pipeline over the last 10 days or so, and we got some good results. And then we need to actually maintain pipeline. And I want to talk to you guys about that. Welcome Celiac Matt. Thank you for rating. You've rated a weird stream. This is a project management planning stream where we're basically going to be looking at walls full of signs in Minecraft. If you're into the business side of things behind the scenes on live streams and video production, this is the thing for you. Yeah, the camera gets bigger when people tip. We're currently $19 away from the next face camera expansion milestone. Tips are welcome via paypal.me/JoeHills and YouTube Super Chat. Okay. So,
and for everyone watching, when you're making goals like this, this is all part of that process where you look at the overall picture and then you try to break it down into smaller chunks. Another way to do this, it's called storyboarding, where you take that goal and you identify the steps you need to take to make that goal happen. And that's basically what we're doing right now.
So, I've created a huge list of roles that I'm not going to build signs for in Minecraft. But basically, every role inside of the joehills.net business right now. And some of those are currently done by other people part-time, like the moderator role, sometimes I'm doing it, but also Queen Dark Lady's doing it. I'm one of our 3 server operators, but we've got Yurgi and Toxic covering 2 of the servers for me. Project management is something that I've hired NJ to run for me, right? I've hired an accountant to file my taxes, but I'm still doing a lot of the accounting day to day, in terms of like receipts, costs, invoices, that sort of thing. Like I have a tax guy that I talk to once a year, basically. I've delegated certain roles though, in certain scopes, but a lot of it I end up being responsible for. And so what I've tried to do, one of the big things with the revised production pipeline is I need to be able to focus on conceptualizing, coming up with ideas for episodes and ideas for segments inside of episodes. And I need to focus on actually doing footage review and editing. And these are 2 things where the amount of time I'm spending on just streaming has expanded, which during the pandemic made a lot of sense because everybody's stuck at home all the time. They want to watch somebody who's streaming 6 hours a day. But now, things are much more asynchronous. So getting more 20-minute episodes out per week and streaming, instead of streaming like 15 shows some weeks, I should focus on streaming like 7. I feel like I'd still be streaming at least once a day, twice a day some days, but right now the energy that I'm putting into streaming that much is it has been a distraction from the production pipeline. And so we're going to be revising. So one of the things we're putting on our February thing, revised stream schedule. So that way I can make sure that we're getting the episodes out first, because that's where we can bring joy to the most people. Now, when I say revised stream schedule, I'm looking at still doing most of the evening streams. And possibly adding evening streams, but taking out some of the morning streams, because those morning streams originally were just something I would do on days where I didn't have footage to edit, because that was my editing time. And then I was like, I can edit later in the day, or I don't feel like editing today, I'll just stream instead. But without, I can't look at a computer all morning playing games and streaming and then have the reserves, let's say, in terms of focus and whatnot, to get the editing done. Guts of Kanzo says you need to schedule time to plan the studio bits. That is, well, let's slap that on here just so we know. Intentions. We need to create a late show. Create only at night with Joe Hills. And that means we need to book guests. We need to book guests. We need to coordinate, that kind of follows. We need to book guests. We need to create assets like the intro, the outro, music, that sort of thing. We have a bunch of stuff we need to do for that. That's a separate thing. My project manager is NJCoffeeJunkie.
Hi.
Okay. So, anyway, core concept. One of the things we're going to try is a revised stream schedule so that I can do book guests, create assets, and basically, write monologues. We need to have write monologue jokes. Okay? So, the SMART goals version of Create Only at Night with Joe Hills. Not I, Etho. would be tape 1 live episode of Only at Night per month. I really think 1 to 2 might be reasonable, but 1 to 2 live episodes of Only at Night per month.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable.
And so we need to put under try, create talk show. This is a top level thing that'll get broken into tasks later, right? But let's go back up here to make good videos and publish them at least once a week. So Naman says, what steps have to occur and how long is each step in the production pipeline? Okay, well, the production pipeline is basically pre-prod, which is concepts and booking. Now, booking would be like if I wanted to record an episode with Scar, I need to like coordinate, hey, Scar, when are you going to be free? Like sometimes we just have random interactions on the server, but if I'm like, oh, I want this episode to be playing Scar's new minigame with Cub, and I want them both to be there, then I need to send them both a message at the beginning of the week and saying, hey, which days of the week might you guys both be available, right?
Yes.
So pre-prod, concepts and booking. Then we have production, and that's taping. And that is going to include AV tech, like audio checks, video checks, all sorts of stuff. And then we have post-production, which is going to be editing. Okay, so footage review, editing, and adding effects. And that could be things like titles, all sorts of other stuff, right? So
yes,
this is so pre-prod, production, post-prod, and then publishing. And that is encoding, uploading, and metadata. And then promotion, that's going to be post to Discord, Tumblr, Blue Sky, etc. Okay. So this is the production pipeline. And right now, almost all of my energy has been spent on taping, which is, in theory, what we're doing when I'm streaming, where it's like, oh, we're doing that. Now, production there can also be concepts, booking, and prep of like skins or build planning. So like if I was going to plan out a big, let's say that I knew for St. Patrick's Day, I wanted to make some sort of, green variant of my shirt or something. That would be technically pre-prod. Okay. So, anyway. So Sandwich says, in a perfect world, you hire everything out except for the taping. Well, let's talk about that. So I don't know if any of you guys have watched the Larry Sanders Show, which is a TV show where Larry Sanders is a late night host like Jay Leno or Johnny Carson or Dick Cavett, and he is the talent. And it's his job to interview guests on stage, to tell the monologue jokes, to do funny skits. But he's got a whole staff working for him. He's got writers who are working on the monologue jokes. He's got a booker who is hiring, famous people to come on the show and then prepping them with interview questions. Like for Only at Night, all of the booking is going to have to be done by me. Because like if I'm going to invite, like the people that I've talked to that I want to invite on the show know me. They don't know some random person I've hired, right? These would be mostly people I know personally, and I would be bringing them on because of that personal connection. If the show got bigger over time, I might be able to book people who don't know me as well, but still, in the short term, I think there's no world where within 30 episodes this show is famous enough on its own that I could have somebody else book guests for me, right? Like,
Not yet.
If you're a YouTuber with 150,000 subscribers and you've got a staff member emailing people about being on your show, it's going to look like you're a pretentious jerk. Nobody's going to want to be on that show. So really, I'm going to have to be the booker. I'm going to have to do the interview prep with people. I'm going to have to do the monologue writing. The thing is, I want to do these things. I want to talk to cool people that I already know and have an excuse to invite them on the show. I want to set aside more time to write jokes. Like when we talk about the list of roles that I do within the organization, there's a bunch of them like poetry writing, songwriting, joke writing that have really kind of fallen aside because I'm spending so much time just live streaming, and I'm not live streaming with enough pre-production concepts and with enough booking in advance. Like, I need to like be able to go into my upcoming week of streams and be like right now it doesn't matter so much because the server's still in early game and stuff is really loose. But once things start getting built on the server, if I had been booking more aggressively, I could have been playing Hungry Hermits more often. I could have been messaging other hermits and saying, hey, you want to play Hungry Hermits on Thursday night? And I wasn't, because I didn't have the energy, I didn't have the focus. And so it's all been, too much energy has been put into streaming. So yeah, we're going to have a revised stream schedule. We're talking about cutting down to maybe 7 shows a week, which is still a lot by most people's standards, but reallocating that energy into brainstorming and booking and other sorts of prep work, right? As well as into footage review and editing, to make sure. One of the things that keeps stalling out my production pipeline is I end up with like 8 hours of footage and I'm like, oh, I don't even want to start wading through this. If I force myself to keep getting episodes out the door, then we're not going to get that clog in there. As a side note, Mr. Phillips says, logistics questions, how will non-hermits be on the show? Kind of like Space Ghost Coast to Coast. If you haven't seen that, you can buy the episodes on Apple TV. There's like a telescreen that comes down from the ceiling and Space Ghost asks the host questions.
It's kind of like what we're doing now, but there's no screen yet.
Yeah, we will not be whitelisting people to put them on the HermitCraft server for this.
Nope.
Doc says, so the revised stream schedule is to make the revised pipeline more sustainable. Yes. Now that is the first of 2 concrete steps that I want to make toward this. Well, so we've got revised pipeline, we've got experiment. That's where we're at right now. The maintain pipeline step. Ideally, in the show, in the Larry Sanders show, there's one guy who's played by Rip Torn, whose whole job it is to oversee the production. His role is called producer. If you haven't seen the Larry Sanders show, if you've seen Men in Black, there's, the talent, J and K, who go out and are funny. But then there's a guy behind the scenes, a director named Zed, who directs operations. Zed is played by Rip Torn. Basically, we need a Rip Torn type person so that I, the talent, am held accountable, and so that when I'm acting as a writer or a booker or whatever, that there is someone else that I am accountable to. And so one of the steps that we are putting on the try thing here is hire producer. And the producer role will involve one 15-minute production call every day to go through upcoming streams, upcoming videos, and upcoming episodes of Only at Night with Joe Hills, and look at where are we on concepts, where are we on booking, where are we on other set stuff like set design, skin design, builds, props, what needs to be ordered, anything like that. That person will also be supervising whether or not I am up to what I'm supposed to be at on editing. And so the core concept is that if I don't have to worry, like one of the things I hate about setting up the stream is I have to set the stream title and I'm like, I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm just going to play Minecraft. These projects are so huge, I'll find something to do. That's not an attitude that gets you an episode once or twice a week. I need somebody that I'm going to be responsible to for that. And so the plan for that is that by the beginning of next month, I am going to onboard my spectacular spouse, Badger Spanner, to act as producer for the creative stuff on terms of Minecraft episodes, streams, things like that. Making sure the late show or the Only at Night show takes off. So NJ's project management role right now has also gotten a little bit in the weeds with me like, oh, I know I should be talking about this IT plan to migrate these servers, but I'm stressed out about the production pipeline. We're going to take the production pipeline out of those calls, and we're going to leave all of the projects. Hey, welcome, Jevin Raiders. We are currently talking about my production pipeline, which I guess I can zoom out on enough that you can see it next to my face. And we're talking about the production pipeline and how my spectacular spouse, Badger Spanner, is going to be taking on a staff role where we have a daily 15-minute production meeting and go over where am I on upcoming streams, where am I on upcoming episodes, and making sure that we have good plans for stuff. So yeah, Jevin Raiders, we're currently in the basement below my base. I guess if you haven't seen my base, it's an Art Deco TV studio, and now I'm even further below it. And this is where we waste ender pearls. But yeah, real quick, let's go to the surface just for the benefit of the Jevin Raiders. This is a quarterly planning stream. Once a quarter, my project manager and I get on the phone and talk about what we are doing. Joju asks, are you looking to have a concrete plan for each stream? Yes, that is the goal, is that I should... You know how people keep asking me, Joe, do you have any goals for this stream? And I'm like, that's not sustainable. That's not a way to get episodes out the door. So we are going to... can I go up? So there is our Art Deco TV studio. We are talking about this because we are shifting gears from the early season to the mid-season here on HermitCraft. Or maybe not mid-season, mid-game. Yeah, we're nowhere near the middle of the season, but we're in the mid-game of HermitCraft. We are out of the basic, like, oh no, I need a dirt hut mode. And we are into getting stuff done. Our fire protection system is messed up right now. But,
that's okay, it can be fixed.
Yeah, no, it's just one of those. It wasn't a priority before this stream. It didn't need to be done before this call.
Nah.
Okay. So, core concept. Badger will be helping me make sure that I've got a pipeline for writing jokes for a monologue, for booking guests, for preparing interview questions for Only at Night with Joe Hills, for making sure episodes get out the door, and making sure that I have fallback plans. Like, I don't know if you guys have ever played Quiplash, but you know how there's a button for safety quips? Drew Bada says, just so long as you're still okay with the stream getting waylaid by nonsense. The stream can always get waylaid by nonsense. That's fine. I'm happy to have Scar or whoever swing by, but the big issue is that there were way too many streams where I'm just like, I'm just going to mine this out and talk about whatever's on my mind. And that's okay sometimes, but where was I? I need to have like ideas in my back pocket, like rebuild Nether portal, extend the dock, right? Oh, hey, you need to build a hair and makeup booth. Go improve some redstone. We need to have a few episode ideas that are kind of fallback ideas for if I'm just like trying to, let's say I'm trying to build something and it's just not working out. Sometimes that'll stall an episode by a week because I'm like, I got to go back to the drawing board and rework on it. No, we're not doing that anymore. It's like if I hit a certain point and we don't have an episode based on the footage I have, in case of emergency, break glass on, hey, you still haven't built another portal tunnel upgrade. Just go knock something out and invite somebody over to help you with it, right? So Badger would also be in charge of helping me kind of make sure that we have fallbacks in place for if plans go astray. So that is... Naman says, I trust Joe will give Badger Spinner proper recognition. Okay. So let's change revised stream schedule to 7 streams per week. And then we're going to add in here, I want to add post-show credits. I realize that we're not necessarily properly crediting the staff at the end of every episode. So like I was like, if I add a producer, I should credit that producer at the end of the episode. And it's like, well, at this point, why am I not crediting everybody? So another thing we are going to be trying is I need to create some sort of end credits frame or sequence or something. And part of what the producer will be in charge of is making sure that I actually make that. And that I'm not just messing around. Okay.
Would that be something you would ask Manu about? Because at the end of his streams, he has this scrolling thing that, like, as an example, would that be an example of what you would want to do? Or would you want it to be a solid, like a static graphic?
If I needed to ask Manu, yeah, I mean, I've made fake credits before.
I'm sorry. I meant for inspiration.
No.
Like in terms of
no, I wouldn't bother Manu for inspiration. I'd bother Manu for like troubleshooting if I ran into a very odd particular edge case. But no, I've made.
I misspoke. I was trying to ask if it was going to be something akin to what Manu does at the end of his stream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Okay. There we go.
Something. I was
got there in the end.
I was originally thinking more like what Matt Wilson does, but I don't
know.
Oh,
yes, of course.
I'd have to look around. But I have ideas in my head, but I don't know that we need to sort them now. That's out of scope for this call. But
okay, it helps me figure out what you're trying to do, that's all.
Yeah. So
got it. Okay. Continue.
Yeah. Core concept. Safe Haven says, is there a timer or something you can set to send the tip link? Because multiple streams you've gotten lost in the game and then forgot to ask for over an hour.
When was the last time you sent out the link?
I don't want to do that. So Safe Haven, like when I talk about like I want to do stuff without compromising, like there's certain things, like this show isn't about having computers boss us around. I'm not gonna have a timer tell me when to post the tipping link.
Mr. Lance says, okay, but if you don't end it with a brought to you by viewers like you part, I will be upset.
Okay. You know what we need to do? If we have time...
Put that in the feedback channel.
No, hold on. Let me find... let me see if I can find this YouTube video. Hold on.
Oh, goodness.
Watch on YouTube, mute site. Okay, so there's a show called Computer Show. And this has exactly what I think Mr. Lance is talking about. This is a show that was made 10 years ago, but it's designed to look like it was made let's see. It's designed to make it look like it was made in 1983. And So Kindleist, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Is my yeah. What I'm saying is there's some people who do a pretty good job of riffing on those already, and so I want to do something in that vein, but I want to make sure I'm not just retreading what other people have already done either. That link has 50 years of the PBS was. Ah, thank you, appreciate it. Okay, core concept though. We have a lot of things that we're going to be trying in the next month. And a lot of that is going to carry through the indefinite future. One of the other reasons to make this change is, as many of y'all know, I used to have a job as a developer, and I've done some freelance development work. I found that trying to juggle freelance work and producing my own show was incredibly stressful. But the best way for me to make the show I want to make, without having timers like Safe Haven was suggesting, or without doing like charity drives, or not charity drives, but like tipping drives or whatever, or going and being like, oh, hey, we're going to do some sort of Uber Eats ad in the middle of my show. I don't, that's not for me. That's not how I want to make my show. One of the best ways...
That's not a compromise.
Yeah. If I have the choice between financing my show by doing outside work here and there, or by doing something like an ad in the middle of my Minecraft episode, I don't want to do the ad. And so one of the goals of shifting this around and offloading the production overhead onto Badger is that if I am able to get any additional side jobs in the future, it won't be as much of a mental burden for me to juggle whatever side work I get with making sure the Minecraft episodes get out. If we get in a solid routine here where we've got a good production pipeline, we're having the production meetings, we're getting the episodes out, then basically replacing a few hours a day with of streams with other work could be really good for making sure that this meetups thing, right now, I can afford to go to 2 things between now and September. And then maybe, right now I have 3 events this year. Tennessee Game Days Spring, Tennessee Game Days Fall, and PlayOnCon. And for Tennessee Game Days, I can't afford a hotel. I'm just driving in from Nashville every day. Like, I want to be going to PAX again, and realistically, the extra hours I'm spending streaming isn't generating that revenue. And so I'm optimistic that this is a way that I can keep making the show that I want to make without kind of having to give up opportunities to meet the viewers and stuff like that. So that's what we're looking at. Hey, welcome, Chris Wage. This is my quarterly planning call with my project manager, NJCoffeeJunkie. Hope you're doing well, Chris. Staying warm. Kindleist says you could just bite the bullets and enable Twitch affiliates to get subs. Yeah, the thing about that, Kindleist, is that the first month I do that, I'm probably going to lose a ton of money in tips, and I won't get that first Twitch payout until much later, and then I won't make rent that month. I couldn't afford to turn subs on without taking on some sort of side gig first anyway. Right now, I'm not in a position to experiment with things like that, and I don't like that. So it seems like the first step to being able to take on side gigs without compromising the video production output is put somebody in charge of maintaining the production pipeline. Kindle says, I didn't realize the health insurance jump caused things to get so knife-edged. Yeah. For those of you guys
Welcome
who
to
don't
America.
know, yeah, Badger fell off a bike and broke their wrist last year. And so we owe like $9,000 in medical bills for that. We're paying that at about $250 a month. Also, our health insurance went up $600 a month. So we need an extra
Flipping
$850 a
obscene.
month to just stay where we were last year. And most of the options that involve going to like making money as a YouTuber are not the reasons I got into making videos on YouTube. Does that make sense? So I think that getting more short episodes out, focusing on making sure that the streams we do, 7 shows a week is still a decent number, but making sure that all 7 of them are meaningful streams where I come in, I've got a goal, we're doing something fun. Hey, welcome KMC. This is a weird stream. This is a quarterly planning stream. My project manager's here. So if you like hearing about the business side of streaming in YouTube, which maybe you have enough of that at home, I understand if you want to peace out. This is not a crazy run around in Minecraft stream. This is a figuring out what the steps are to make a talk show in Minecraft and make Minecraft episodes more effectively, that sort of thing.
Yeah, and also I would like to point out that for you, if people are asking you or wanting to sub on Twitch,
Yeah.
my recommendation would be to check out your Patreon because you get more of that and they get access to the Discord, which is a wonderful community. It's a better investment for the viewers, just saying.
I think you're right. The big thing with the Patreon is because it bills on the first of the month. I don't feel comfortable recommending people sign up for it after the 20th of any given month. That is a weird thing.
Yeah, wait till the first.
Yeah.
Wait till the first.
Kindle says, have you considered using Hightail as an avenue for YouTube member streams? Well, that's actually one of the other reasons that we're looking at scaling back streams. So I want to scale back these scheduled streams per week. Let's actually put that in there. So 7 scheduled streams per week, which would be like the HermitCraft, the core product streams. 7 scheduled streams a week. But then we add bonus streams for stuff like Hightail. Right now, I don't have like a good place to drop Hightail in without canceling a HermitCraft stream, and I hate that. And because I never want to cancel, I never want to cancel a HermitCraft stream. So scheduling fewer HermitCraft streams up front, is going to be the way to make that work.
No, it's easier to add one in than to take one out.
Yeah. Do I have a Hightail creator code and plan to get one? I don't. I think I probably missed the boat on that. They sold $30 million worth of the game already. I feel like most people have already bought it. The day to get a Hightail creator code was at launch. But also, I think that it's one of those things where it's like, okay, you get like 10 cents for every sign up. Which, if you have a huge audience and you get like 3,000 signups, that's $300. That's not bad. But I don't think I'm gonna get enough signups to make. Zephyr says it might be 5%. Okay, well, I don't know the exact percentage, but I guess my point is, if I could do skilled work on the side, I could make more than that without there. Doc says the danger of adding bonus streams back in is you get back to the original point of having too many streams. Yeah, but we didn't have the safety valve of having a production pipeline with proper management. So I'm not saying, okay, we're talking about cutting down from like 15 at most streams a week to 7 streams a week. So then even if we add 2 or 3 bonus Hightail streams, like, oh, hey, the bonus streams would fit in, like, I just uploaded a video to YouTube and it's going to take 3 hours to process. Let's jump on Hightail. That would, so when I say bonus streams, I mean like unscheduled. We had a gap because we're waiting on, like, between upload and going live on YouTube, there can be a several-hour processing delay, right? So that's so it's one of those things where the bonus streams wouldn't be
Yeah,
I'm not saying
That's why they're bonus.
we go from 15 streams to 15 streams. I'm saying we go from 15 to 7, and then we occasionally add 1 or 2 back in, maybe 3 at most, depending on like bad weather or other things, right?
Yeah, or if your plans cancel, or you're
Yeah.
waiting for something, or you know, maybe Badger goes out for a bit, and you're like, okay, well, what can I do?
No, the thing is though, Badger's role is going to be asynchronous. Badger's role is going to be 15 minutes a day of production meetings.
Yeah,
Badger's not going to be supervising production live, like, oh, I can't stream without Badger here, I can't record without Badger
That's
here.
not what I meant, Joe.
Well, you said like if Badger goes out.
I meant like as if they have plans.
Yeah, but okay.
I'm using that as a general example, an example of something that could happen.
No, that's fair.
Not saying it would.
Well,
but trying to make it easier for the audience to understand.
Well, Badger goes to concerts and stuff the thing is, when Badger goes to concerts, it's usually during the existing scheduled streams. So, yeah.
I was trying to just use a general example.
Okay. I didn't understand. I think I get it now.
Okay, good. I knew you'd get there in the end.
Okay. Rudiger says, I want to subscribe to Patreon, but I feel like one day I'd unsubscribe and I'd be taking something away, feel guilty both ways. I mean, you got to do whatever's best for you, but I mean, I will say there is churn in Patreon. That's an expected part, that some people run out of money and they have to cancel. You know, I hope Hulu wasn't counting on me to maintain my Hulu subscription, because boy, they're not getting money from me this month. Same thing for Netflix. Same thing for, HBO. It's like, I understand that some people have the ability to tip sometimes and some people don't at other times, and they can be the same people. And it's okay. That is fine. I'm trying to make a show that's free for everybody to enjoy, whether you can afford to support it or not. And I, for years, funded that show through my day job. And, I've always said, if I have to go back to making websites, I'll go back to making websites. But I didn't necessarily have a good plan for that. And this is kind of us making sure that we have a good plan for that, because I don't want to make a worse HermitCraft series for you. And I will say, I've been a little bit directionless on some elements of video production the last couple seasons, where I was just working on projects that were so large, I could always just work on something and feel like I was making progress, even if I wasn't making progress toward the next episode. And so this season, I've tried to approach everything from a much more episode-driven standpoint, and I feel like it's all paying off. Kindle says, could you move your bonus streams to YouTube member exclusives so then you can advertise it more heavily? Maybe. The thing is, the bonus streams would a lot of times be for stuff that, maybe would be less popular anyway. If I did a Hightail stream, that would have a smaller draw than my existing Minecraft stuff in a lot of ways. Or it might have crossover appeal in weird ways where I'd benefit more from it not being a YouTube member exclusive. In the long term, I want to maximize making entertainment for as many people as possible. And I don't want to gate a lot of that. The YouTube member exclusive thing really needs to be for stuff that's, for privacy reasons, maybe not better to have archived in the broader internet. A stuff, it should be for stuff that's more stuff if I'm hand coding my own website. That's one of the big things I was originally planning on doing with it. That project got postponed because of Badger's wrist. A lot of stuff that I was supposed to get started on during the hiatus kind of got shelved or tabled or backburnered. But yeah, I really don't. I I don't know yet. I actually kind of want to go the opposite direction. I want to start making more things that have VODs, not HermitCraft. HermitCraft, the goal is to produce episodes, but I'm okay with the goal of other streams being to produce VODs. But I don't want to do streams where the goal is both. So I've started doing VODs of my Hades streams. And if I did Hightail, I would probably want to do VODs of the Hightail streams. Because I don't think I want to try and jam Hades. I don't want to edit Hades. I don't want to edit Hightail. I want to just make HermitCraft my flagship series. And if anything is kind of considered a side series, it would be the Only at Night with Joe Hills, which is a side series kind of within HermitCraft.
Yeah. I did want to say that this is a good time to mention that your YouTube channel offers memberships.
Yeah, the YouTube channel does offer memberships. That is indeed a thing. Okay. If you guys want to find my YouTube channel, let me post that. I will say, though, the awkward thing about pushing the YouTube memberships is it's a good hedge if Patreon were to go down. But the cut is significantly worse for me than Patreon. And so it's important to have YouTube memberships. It's important to have Patreon alternatives in the long term because I could keep making HermitCraft easier if YouTube went away than if Patreon went away. If Patreon went away at the end of the month, I would be like, I don't know how I can make rent. I don't know how, like we are so, like YouTube revenue is about a fifth to a third of what Patreon revenue is, with tips, super chats, or with YouTube super chats, YouTube memberships, and ad revenue altogether. And I could just publish the HermitCraft episodes through Patreon and on my own web servers. I could use the money from Patreon to spin up a web server that could render or that could serve video to the 15,000 to 20,000 people. That's not a huge... I don't have to scale it to Grian scale. I just need Joe Hill's scale. And I've made servers like that for clients before. That we could do with money we already have. Whereas if Patreon goes away, I'm screwed. I'm not going to make rent. I'm not going to cover my health insurance. And so yeah, the YouTube memberships are an important fallback, but I don't want to push them as a frontline thing. But I do think, though, that if Patreon went away, a lot of the people who currently support me on Patreon would probably consider switching over to something else. I hope. But only if when they go, I've been paying for this for 5 years now. Is Joe even putting out episodes on the tempo he should? We have to, in order to have the confidence of the viewers to make this channel worth supporting, we need to be putting out episodes. We need the streams to have some focus and intention and sense of direction to them. And I feel like we're in a good place in terms of the experiment that I've been doing with the revised pipeline. Mr. Lance says, have you thought about filming an in-person as for Patreon or YouTube memberships that can be used as an ad break? What is the as in quotes mean? I don't know what that is. Is that an abbreviation like Adult Swim?
Oh,
film an in-person.
Probably meant that as ad. Probably meant that as ad, in-person ad.
He would have just written the word ad if it was ad. He wouldn't have put quotes around it because that's...
Well, give a second for clarification.
Yeah, I mean, we can... So the biggest reason I don't like promoting the Patreon in the YouTube episodes is because I want the YouTube episodes to last for decades. And I don't know if Patreon's going to be around 20 years from now. I hate sending people to dead links.
That's fair. That's fair.
Lady Oolong says, I think it is ad. Oh, yes, Mr. Lane says it is ad.
Hey, I interpreted that
Here's
correctly.
the thing is I would not feel comfortable doing that in the middle of an Only at Night episode. I might feel comfortable doing it at the end, but if I'm inviting somebody on to talk about their book, I feel like, okay, so let's say I have Cub Fan on as our first guest, and then our second guest, I bring in somebody who works in space technology. And then our third guest is maybe a musician or something. I don't feel comfortable plugging my Patreon in between any of those guests. That could maybe go at the end, but like one of the big things that the late show type hosts have to push back against on the network is that networks are always wanting them to promote stuff, and they have to balance that. I feel like part of my goal as the talent in a late show is to tell the network part of me, no, we can't promote the Patreon in the show. That's not what the show is for. I mean, the ad, we can... I don't know. I feel like there's better ways to promote the Patreon. I feel like promoting the Patreon through the live streams is better. That... Yeah, okay. Yeah, I could mention it during the taping. I could mention it during the live stream where we tape the episodes. But yeah, it wouldn't go in the taping.
Someone else asked another question. Safe Haven wrote, aside from the class stream with Cleo, from an audience perspective, I don't see you initiating many collaborative streams. Scars visited you, X invited you.
No, I initiated the thing with Skiz and Asuma. I invited Skiz to visit my theater.
Must be their perspective then.
Skiz
That's what I thought.
Skiz wanted to see one of the Copper Golem places that Asuma had already built. And so I said, hey, come on over to mine. No, I initiated that.
Okay. Yeah, I thought so.
But here's the big thing is, one of the things I was saying that we're trying to fix with my production pipeline is I'm not doing a good job of booking in advance. I will say, oh man, I want to record something with so-and-so. Oh, I want to go to so-and-so's base. But then I forget to send them a message saying, hey, will you be free tonight? Can we record something at your base? Part of the goal of these daily production meetings is going to be to go over, hey, who do you need to collab with? Have you asked them? Are they free, right? That's part of the booking in pre-prod. And that's part of why we're bringing in somebody to help me. Joju says there's a lane for channel trailers specifically tied to season 11 where you advertise only at night, the Patreon, the live stream schedule, and anything else coming up. Yeah. Yeah, there is. There's opportunities for that sort of thing. Hey, we got a couple folks just signed up for the Patreon. Thank you so much. Just so you know, I send the Patreon invites manually once per day, so you can expect that to go out in tomorrow's batch. But yeah, you will get sent a Discord, or I'll send you a Discord invite via the Patreon messaging system. So keep an eye out for that tomorrow, because I can't just send that in the middle of the stream. Can you put a Patreon clickable element on the video without making it permanent part of the video? YouTube loves changing that stuff and breaking that stuff, maybe. I've learned how to do that 5 times, and I got tired of learning how to do it again because they kept rug pulling me. And maybe that's the sort of thing, like, I'll have more energy for. Like, that is part of why we're trying to bring somebody in to help supervise the production pipeline so that I have the mental overhead to go learn how to do that a 15th time or a 6th time or whatever. But the answer is probably maybe. They've added and removed that ability so many times I don't even know anymore. I gave up on knowing because, like, here's the thing is I want to make episodes for my audience. I don't want to make videos for YouTube. I'm incidentally making videos for YouTube. That's a byproduct of what I'm doing. And so I've tried not to get too in the weeds with YouTube-specific features because I don't want to get more stuck with them than I already am, if that makes sense. What's the format for the talk show? It's going to be, we've got a studio built upstairs. We're not in the studio now. Doc says, maybe you could be a teeny bit more pushy on the Patreon when you do this stream and no ads because of the patron bit on the end. Even if it's just saying links to the Patreon down below. I do need to be more aggressive about pushing the Patreon stuff in streams. One of the goals of cutting down the streams is to try to make them feel more like events or shows for the scheduled streams. The bonus streams will have a lot more of a vibe of, hey guys, I had a few extra hours, let's just play a game. But for the scheduled streams, we want to definitely make them feel more like a show, and having reminders of stuff like that wouldn't be out of line. So, Safe Haven says, sorry for misremembering the part of the video where you invited Skiz and Asuma over. I cut it out of the video. It wasn't in my POV. It was, if you were watching Skiz and Asuma's stream, you would know that. But yeah, the way the video is cut, it looks like they just kind of showed up. So yeah, not a huge mistake. Welcome, Wahammer. So we're looking at cutting down the stream schedule. We're looking at adding post-episode credits. We're looking at creating a talk show. Okay, we want to launch talk show, actually, because, yeah. So let's talk about the steps. Okay. So the steps to launch the talk show is we need to probably shoot a test episode. And so for the test episode, we still need to book guests of some caliber, but not necessarily like book. In some ways, we want book test guests, right? Mm-hmm. Like test guests is like the friends and family version of the show, where we're testing a lot of things. It's probably going wrong, and so yeah, so kind of a rehearsal episode. So we need to book test guests. We need to pick a date.
Yes, pick the date. That's important.
So we need to book the test guests for the date. I think the build is basically done. But we need to finish VTR assets, which would be like the pre-roll, the live from Studio 11 on the Palapa. Yeah, I screwed that up. Live from Studio 11 on the Palapa Pier. It's only at night with Joe Hills. Tonight's guests include Good Times with Scar, local historian Betsy Phillips, and musical guest Quinn Hills. Now, who's the guy who's ranked 4,771st in international pinball rankings and only slightly worse in our hearts? It's Joe Hills. It's supposed to be that's Joe Hills. Anyway, core concept. So we need to finish the VTR assets for the intro and outro. And then we need to do the test. Hey, we got a few, we got a sign up for on the YouTube membership from Scott1711. Welcome to supporter. Appreciate you, Scotts. let's see. Kaysana Freyan says, funny ads are timeless. If you do a joke once in a while, I don't think it would be out of place to do it. Now a word for our sponsors. Yeah, funny ads are a good bit to do. That's one of the comedy writing things that I want to have more time for when I'm not quite in the weeds with running pre-prod. Having Badger asking me, did you brainstorm these ads? Did you brainstorm funny news ideas? Did you brainstorm this? That is going...
You could get hermits. You could make adverts for hermits.
Make adverts for hermits.
Shops and stuff.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we could book the studio for filming local TV style ads with the hermits, like the Salt Lake Community College Barbering and Cosmetology School. Barbering and Cosmetology School, an unlicensed salon. Let me cut your hair. Let me see if I can find a link to that. This is my favorite local commercial ad. Okay. I hate that they changed the title to Mormon Haircuts Crazy Local Commercial. That's a terrible YouTube title. I mean, it's actually probably a really good YouTube title, but it's not the original title of the video, and I don't like when things change. I feel like the title, like, as a historian, I want an archive to be immutable to some degree, or you can add to it, but you can't remove or change things. Can't swap out titles in the middle. It's fine. But yeah, public service announcements with Pearl. We could do all sorts of stuff. So part of Badger's job, like when we say concepts here, concepts is brainstorming specific types of bits, for example, and supporting assets like skins, builds, and supporting, let's say, props / sets, skins, etc. Right. So if I'm supposed to be thinking up ad ideas to pitch hermits, one of the things that might come up in that daily production meeting with Badger is, Joe, you said you were going to come up with 5 pitches for 5 different hermits. What's the best 3? Do you actually have 5? Do you have more than 5? Where are we on that? Just so I don't just write it in a notepad and then never do it, right? So yeah, like I said, what we're doing is we're taking some of the cognitive overhead for making sure I follow up on ideas and moving it to Badger as the producer. And then what I'm going to be focused on more with NJ is actual, like, larger projects. And so that would be like year-end tax requirements. That would be, we have a major server shift. We need to major server migration that I've been trying to get to for the last 10 months, and I just haven't. I've been too in the weeds. Like, I'm spending too many hours streaming, and I'm going to say, like, beyond a certain point, I kept thinking, like, well, boy, if I stream more, I'll make more in tips, but, like, yeah, I'm doing the math, and the extra hours in streaming is fun for me, and I'm making progress on my builds and stuff, but it's not necessarily actually generating revenue. Speaking of generating revenue, thank you, Miss Gold Fox, who says, thanks for streaming the project management session. It always inspires me to be more intentional with my own planning. Hey, I'm so glad. I really want to quickly shout out the webcomics community, because, like, what Miss Gold Fox is describing, experiencing right now, that's where I was in, like, 2007, 2008, listening to, like, Chris Straub and Brad Geiger, Meredith Grant, these web cartoonists talking about their process. Evan Dom, all sorts, Chris Hastings, all sorts of incredibly talented people took time out of their creative process to write or talk on podcasts or speak with me at conventions about the behind the scenes of their business. And even though my webcomics business never took off, the stuff they taught me helped me so much with building my entertainment business on the whole. And so we've got 2 face camera expansion milestones coming in to thank Miss Gold Fox, but it pleases me so much that I can kind of pass on some of that experience. So thank you, Miss Gold Fox, for not only the financial support, but also the kind words. Here we go. We're about to expand Jost. Da-da-da-da. Lowering the Joe Pasty now to 70%. T-D-D-D. And numero dos, even larger Jost. La-da-da-da. Lowering the Joe Pasty now to 60%. We are at the most obnoxious face camera expansion milestone, the Joni Stark helmet cam. Tips are welcome via paypal.me/Joe Hills and YouTube Super Chat. Okay. Yeah. But yeah, in the same way that part of the producer's job is to ask, where's the jokes for the monologue from the head writer? It's me. I'm the head writer. It's going to be NJ's job to, instead of, like, if at our weekly planning meeting, I'm like, oh, I'm really in the weeds about production stuff. It's like, well, that's Badger's problem. Talk to Badger about that. Where are you on sending out those tax forms? Those tax forms are due on the 31st. Shut up about your jokes and send the tax forms. Where are we on the server migration? How many places have you called? So, basically, we've got a few other projects that I can't necessarily talk about publicly right now as well. But core concept, this is going to let me make sure that NJ is keeping certain parts of the business moving forward that are going to maybe more overlap charity-facing stuff, meetup-facing stuff. But we're going to get out of the production focus on my weekly NJ calls and make sure we're moving in direction of getting everything else managed, because we are embarrassingly far behind on this server migration. If I could part of the problem is it's going to require some upfront money, which I didn't have, and I still don't, but I'm hoping that with this refined production pipeline, like I said, if I take on some side work, the side work can fund the server migration, and ultimately we'll end up saving we'll probably end up saving, my best estimate is about $250 a month. We're going to have maybe $1,500 in upfront capital expenses, and we're still going to be paying for rack space. But I think we're going to come out way ahead, and we'll have better hardware than we have now. So, yeah, that's a big project that we need to move forward on. It's just been one of those things that felt like too much to work on with juggling everything else. But especially now that Badger's recovered from that broken wrist for the most part, or is pretty far along in recovery, it's time for me to start getting back on all of those sorts of things. Okay. So Lady Oolong says, so given the 45-day thing, would that try be for March-ish? I feel like trying to schedule the server migration for March, loosely aligning it with my kid's spring break, because my kid will be hanging out with the other side of the family for spring break, and having the server migration to focus on will keep my mind off missing my kid. That's actually a really good shout, Lady Oolong. So,
nice.
Oh, clip show. Yeah, we haven't even talked about VODs. We briefly spoke about VODs. Clip show might be a March thing. It's technically lower priority than getting the talk show launched.
Yes.
So,
and someone also mentioned short, but don't ask me about that. I don't know how to do that.
Based on what I've talked to the other hermits about, shorts don't seem to have any real return. Some people have been experimenting with them just out of curiosity or for fun, but it doesn't seem like shorts are a worthwhile use of time if time is scarce.
Yeah, that
And
makes sense.
if we have bonus time, messing around with shorts might be something for us to experiment with individually. But, I mean, I feel like if some of the people I know who are making shorts, who are incredibly talented and have much larger audiences than I do, are, like, troublingly disappointed by the results.
Yeah.
I don't know that I'm going to have better results with them than they did.
Okay.
Is what I'm Jake says shorts bring numbers and interest. We don't need numbers. I want people who want to watch my show. And it doesn't look like shorts are a good way to find viewers who want to watch things that are like what I make. If your whole job is making shorts, then making shorts is a great way to get people to watch your other shorts. If you make stuff that's generally relatively short form content, then that's fine. But if we're starting to talk about trying to drive people to 15-minute videos through shorts, it's not going to bring in no one. I'm not saying it will bring in 0 people. I'm saying there are more time-effective ways to bring in viewers. So I don't think my channel is a good fit for shorts, and if I need to spend time experimenting on anything, it should be on this server migration that I know will save me $250 a month if I can actually just get it done, right? Like, I'm too backlogged to experiment with something that has failed when so many other people have experimented with it. I don't think I'm unique or special in that way. Worse for Wear says, I've never watched a long-form video because of a short, so I agree with your sentiment, Joe. Glass and Pain says, math checks out. Welcome, Hidalgo Moon. Glad you could join us. Safe Haven says, I'm the same way as Worse for Wear. Yeah. I think I'm going to get more viewers by being silly on Tumblr. And I'm going to get the sort of viewers that want me to be silly that way. Like, ideally, I should be getting viewers by going to conventions and meeting people. That's, to me, the number one way to grow the channel. I value interpersonal connections. I value face-to-face meetups. And right now, that's one of the biggest signs that my channel isn't doing well financially, is the fact that we've basically given up on those. We're doing 3 a year, and they're the cheapest possible ones. So, yeah. I want to find ways to grow my channel my way. Dropout already had a staff. If you have a staff on salary, having somebody who only has 35 hours a week of work to do but is getting paid for 40, spend that extra 5 making shorts, is a great way to try and get some of that money back. Dropout is a full production company.
Yeah, they're a little bit different.
I am
a lot of it different.
A guy who has a few folks helping me a few hours a week. I have no salaried staff. So, yeah. I'm not doing anything on TikTok. I would recommend anybody who's using TikTok get rid of it immediately.
Yeah, I don't use it either.
It does not look like the folks who purchased it have users' best interests at heart, with the additional tracking and changes of terms of service for targeting. I am not on TikTok, and I never will be at this rate. Okay.
Yeah, me neither. Right there with you.
Let's just, okay, we had 2 hours blocked out for tonight, and we have 20 minutes left.
Yeah, you've done a lot.
we've done a lot. Let's talk
I
about
haven't done much other than listen. That's what.
Well, no,
that's
no, no,
what. But that's also what a lot of what I do, and I think that's what people need to understand.
This is
It's like,
kind of
oh,
an
she hasn't done much.
atypical
That's
planning call,
why.
though, because this is about
Yeah.
like you're sanity checking what I'm saying right now, and the fact that
Exactly.
you're not saying much means I'm not actually an insane person, despite the face that I see looking back at me in OBS.
Yeah, your face and what you are saying are two completely different things.
So, yeah, we need to look at
I will
email
roll
and
for
office suite
intimidation if you keep it up,
alternatives.
though.
I'm not joking. And we also have the website.
Goodness.
We also have the rebrand of website and cards. I need to get the new website and cards if I want to start booking more
Yes, you do.
serious guests. We don't need that
Yeah,
for
you
the
do.
first. The first few streams is all going to be guests that are like people who have known me for 15 years. They know me before YouTube type of people.
Yeah.
who- they don't need to see a professional looking card. But if I start talking to like city council members, local clergy who are
Yeah.
involved in protest movements, they're going to want to see something that shows I'm not just messing with them. So
Yeah, you start with, getting the kinks out, and that's what your friends and that's what the people you're bringing in that have known you for a really long time are for, because you've known them for so long. There's a greater ease of conversation. It makes it easier to kind of figure out what needs to be tweaked, and then you bring in those. I don't want to say like higher ranking, but as you said earlier, just people who don't know you, who maybe don't know your audience.
Mm-hmm.
So then you have to you get the kinks out, you get the polish on, and then you can bring those people in. So it might take a little while.
Mm-hmm.
Might take a couple of weeks, maybe a couple of months to
I would
nail
say
everything
months.
down the way that
I
you
think
want
we
it.
need a few. We need a few
Yeah.
episodes that we could point to people.
I would say like between 3 to 4 months to just kind of nail everything down.
Yeah. So if we, especially because we need to have, like, already have had a guest in the same general class of profession. So like before we invite some tabletop roleplay game designer or some game designer who's never heard of me, we do an episode with somebody who I know very well, like Quinn Murphy or Joe Mirabello, who have been guests on the show in the past. We bring them back on, and then we can send a link to that demo episode. And they're like, oh, I know Joe Mirabello. I know Quinn Murphy. Okay, well, if they did the show, let me see. Okay, this is legit. Friends of friends. So basically, we want to start off with, like, immediate circle of friends and acquaintances, and then friends of friends and friends of acquaintances is what we're trying to expand out. But real quick, welcome Zephyr is the Moon Raiders. We are doing a project management meeting. So, I'm feeling like on the whole, we're in some good shape here. We've got the Discord Patreon community quarterly meeting coming up. We should probably shout that out. That is going to be on February 15th at noon Central Time. So anybody in the Patreon community, if you have concerns about anything we talked about today that you want me to come back to at our Patreon community meeting, feel free to put that in the next quarter new business channel to get that on the agenda. Because I do want to make sure. Also, if you have any feedback about any of this that you think of later in the Discord community, feel free to post it in the appropriate feedback channel. The goal of this change is to let me do more without shaking you guys down for money as much. However, until we actually manage to like make some of that side work happen and I actually get checks, because that's the other thing is, like, if there's one thing you learn doing freelance work, there's a start date for work and then there's when you actually get paid. Sometimes you can get some money up front, but there's going to be a possibly kind of a awkward valley here where we're going to be doing fewer streams so I can be available to do work, but I might be spending time just trying to get work or starting on projects that I'm not going to be paid for a while. So if y'all want to support me as we try to basically switch gears on the season to kind of a more production focused thing, where we're also kind of getting, we're creating opportunities for me to take on side things here and there in order to maybe get back out in the world and be able to afford meetups again and things like that. Supporting the show now via PayPal is hugely helpful. Thank you very much to Christina, who tipped $5 and says, I don't need to read the kind words, but you're welcome for the kind words. I am glad that I can provide you a show that you appreciate. And so we're going to put that 5 on here. And that puts us now 14 away from the next face camera expansion milestone. Panet Rosa says, what did I miss? It'll be in the VOD. There will be a VOD of this. That's why there's no... that's why there's no... Music, yeah. Thank you, Badger. Okay, this has been a high mentally... a high-intensity mentally kind of thing.
You've been doing great.
Yeah. Our try schedule, we're really only going through March here, but realistically, if we're going to be... The stuff that we're planning to kick off in February and March is probably going to end up carrying through April. And if there does end up being a large Gamers for Giving weekend event, taking a week of my time, we're not going to want to overload April anyway. So I feel like that's fine.
Yeah. I feel that about April. April's busy for me too.
Yeah. So let's plan for our next project management quarterly call like this to be in the end of April. Or is the end of April bad for you?
Let's find out.
Yeah.
Because I have 3 conferences between the end of March and end of April. So let me pull up my calendar.
You know, we don't have to lock down a date today. We can just tell people in general they can expect another one of these maybe at the beginning of May, about 3 months from now.
February, March, April. So it would be like late April, early May. Okay, yeah. So I know you like to do Mondays. So
we don't have to pick a date. I'm just saying. I just want to say, can we roughly tell people?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Great.
Okay.
Great.
I wanted to put it on my radar now.
I know you want to put it on the calendar
because everything's filling up.
Everything is filling up, but like I might be booking guests for only at night, and there might be somebody who can only be available that time, and we'll narrow it down as we go.
It's fine. I'll earmark it as a possibility on my end as a mental note. No worries.
Okay.
No worries.
But in general, I feel good about the next 3 months or so of what the HermitCraft server looks like for us. Scar's got his shopping district stuff. There's going to be opportunities to help other hermits, like the HHH thing today.
Yes.
I hope you guys enjoyed HHH. That was a lot of fun working with Jevin and the other hermits.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun to check out earlier today.
Yeah, I'm very keen to get, like, when I talk about keeping the schedule open for bonus streams, part of what I'm trying to do is make sure that I have the flexibility, so if Jevin's like, hey, I need help, I can show up. Jubilee says, are we getting a studio podcast from the new virtual studio you built? No, we're getting a TV show from the virtual TV show I built. Why would I do a podcast from a TV studio? I would build a podcast studio. Okay. Minnie Zoekin says, Season 10 flashbacks to Hermits Helping Hermits. Padawan S enjoyed it, said it was fun. Excellent. Drew Bada says, HHH has been really good lately. And Naman says it was a good one today. Yeah, I was really pleased we had so many people show up. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I love seeing you all together. And I would love to see you do more more collabs with, Skiz in the group that you don't get to normally collab with.
Yeah, no, Skiz
You
is
two
always
are
a delight to work
freaking
with.
riot.
And see,
Yeah.
this is one of the things too with having the morning streams is
Mm-hmm.
I'm awkwardly streaming a lot of times, like when Impulse is live. So then
Mm-hmm.
I can't be spying on his stream and then be like, hey, you need help with this? Let me drop in, because I'm too busy making my own show. I'm hoping
Yeah.
that if we remove some of the scheduled morning streams, like
Yeah.
we'll keep the crafts with Cleo, and we'll probably keep the voice acting practice on Friday morning. But like if Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday morning are like editing and production planning time, or like production
Mm-hmm.
prep times, like that's
Oh
when
yeah.
I'm working on emailing people about booking and prepping
Mm-hmm.
skins or brainstorming concepts. If we keep those 3 mornings reserved, but I can always have like Impulse's stream on in the corner, and if I see him doing something fun, I can swing by and record a bit with him. You know, that's how XB is
Of
on.
course.
Yeah, XB can be on top of every stream when he's not live, but you can't do it while
Mm.
you're live. It's a challenge. You know.
Yeah, it's a little bit more difficult. I did want to ask you one other thing as part of your goals and building your channel and everything.
Yeah.
Um, are you considering at any point going back to doing the newsletters that you would do? It's been a while since you've had them.
I need to talk to Tommy about that.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm not sure.
Okay. I was just curious.
It's one of those like there were issues with the monthly tempo that just weren't quite working, but I haven't figured out what the correct tempo is. Never, I don't think, is the correct tempo, but this is one of those ones where I feel like once we kind of figure out the production pipeline and we work out any issues there, other things will become more clear, is what I'm hoping. And if they don't,
Okay.
then you should definitely ask me about it again, and we'll try and figure out what do we still not know to make it clear. But like, for example, if we realize with the production pipeline there's a certain pace that I'm putting out episodes, like one of the biggest problems I think too with the monthly newsletter was there kept being HermitCraft announcements that were going to come out at the end of one month and then were delayed. And it was like, well, should we
Yeah.
delay the newsletter? Basically, making announcements about anything HermitCraft related is impossible because HermitCraft is not good at maintaining schedules.
That's more than fine.
So
So
we'll come back to that.
I'll make a mental note to ask at the next meeting, the next
it's-
call, rather. The
yeah,
next quarterly call.
Yeah, I
That's fine.
like having a
I'm just
newsletter
curious.
and I dislike not having a newsletter. But man, we had so many headaches with the release date for Hermit related news. Like, oh hey,
Yeah,
the
that's
HermitCraft stream weekend. It's like, can we announce this on Wednesday? Yeah, sure. And then Wednesday rolls around. Guys, can we actually announce this on Thursday? Thursday rolls around. No, don't announce it yet. We are still changing the schedule. Can we announce it Friday? So it's like,
I get it.
yeah,
I get it.
it's a challenge.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I get it. No, I was just curious more than anything else.
Okay.
Not a worry. Not a worry.
Drubata says,
But
who wants
no.
to give you a heads up if any hermit needs help or is having fun when you're in the middle of your stream? The awkward thing is, a lot of times when people say that, like if I actually look over there, I'm like, what they're doing, they don't need me to pop in right now. Like, and this is one of those things, like I've been doing this for a while, and like you can kind of just tell. Like sometimes like, oh, it would be a good time to drop in, or it would not be a good time to drop in. Like if 3 people are already having a good time, sometimes it's a good time to drop in, but sometimes it's like, no. They're doing a thing, I need to give them space. And like I can check that vibe if I've got it open in another screen while I'm writing emails to potential guests for the show, but I can't trust the audience to check that vibe. That's what gets awkward. Whereas like if you just said, hey, hey, Tango needs a bunch of these materials that you have. He just complained about it on stream. That I could do.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. Yeah. Mr. Lance says, I think Hermit-related news shouldn't be a main focus, or shouldn't be a focus of a Joe Hill's newsletter. Yeah, I get that, but like, boy, a lot of what's important to me overlaps what's important to the Hermits. And what impacts this community, like stream weekend dates and stuff, ends up being that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, go rewatch Too Many Cooks. It's good. ESP. I put that on last time we were hanging out for the charity stream weekend when there were too many cooks in the kitchen.
Oh my goodness.
And I thought it was funny, but a lot of the Hermits just were like, I don't understand what this is. Is this still going? Why is this still going? And I'm like, it's too many cooks. And they're like, that's why we're not in the kitchen. There's too many people in there already. And I'm like,
oh my goodness.
I'm like, no, listen to it. And then, too many cooks, too many cooks, too many cooks. Like, Cub Fan was just like, it was the first time, like, Cub Fan looked at me as though I were actually insane. Like, Cub Fan is, like, definitely, like, we've hung out before, we've done goofy stuff, but he's just like, oh, there might be something wrong with this guy type of look, you know?
And Tango
Well,
coming in.
Yeah.
Like, is this the same video?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I mean, this, you know, they should be accustomed to your style by now.
Yeah. Drew Botta says, I just started watching Pluribus tonight. Thanks for the recommendation, Joe. It's so good. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I think it's a treat all the way through. Anytime it starts to get a little bit slow, just let them cook. They know what they're doing. At no point did I get to the end of something that was like a little bit slow. And whenever I got to the payoff, I was like, that was worth it. I might have been dubious, like, where are they going with this? I don't know about these choices. Good choices. Good choices all the way through. But yeah. Quill says there may be some selection biases. Too Many Cooks, genuinely the funniest thing on Adult Swim ever. It's definitely up there. There's definitely certain bits of C-Lab 2021, Aqua Teen Hunger Force, and Space Ghost Coast to Coast. But each of those shows has like 100 episodes, or Metalocalypse, you know, too. Like, there's certain moments in them that are up there with Too Many Cooks, but finding those moments in that many episodes isn't the same as just Too Many Cooks is one thing. And it's a great thing. You know what I mean? Okay. So, I think we're ready to close out. We are at the 2-hour mark. NJ, this has been an incredibly productive call. If folks want to find you, do you have your Blue Sky link and your YouTube and your Twitch? What are you on these days that you want people to find you on?
Okay, so you can find me on Twitch and you can find me on Blue Sky. I don't have the links.
Twitch links.
I would have just assumed that they were just classifying.
What did you do?
Your Twitch page and it's making noise. It's recommending Liara. Liara is sneezing at me. Hey there, Liara.
Oops.
In the page of Coffee Junkie, I see you are sneezing. I was so lucky to be there to get it right between the ears.
But
okay.
But yeah, no. People can mostly find me on Twitch. If you give me a second, I'll get my Blue Sky for you.
Yeah, thank you. For
course,
anybody who's not following my Blue Sky, let's post that too.
Post them all.
I'm moving away from Twitter/X. The biggest thing holding me back on that is some things that I've put in applications for. I linked that as like a, hey, this is a real person thing, and I can't just delete that in the middle. So once I've burned through all of those sorts of things, we'll probably be looking at figuring out a path forward with that, but I don't have a immediate plan. Rudiger says we named our puppy Toki after Toki Wartooth. Yay!
Yeah,
Toki
that's
Wartooth,
my
Bumblebee. But yeah, there's NJ's.
That's my blue sky. If you could
Blue
post
Sky.
it in the YouTube for me. For anyone
yeah.
who's interested, I've been playing Breath of the Wild, and I'm very, very close to beating Ganon, getting into Hyrule Castle. My schedule actually just changed because I start my job tomorrow. So I think I'm going to be streaming from like 7 to 9 every weeknight, but I haven't decided yet. It depends on like how the day goes.
Excellent. I've got
Yeah,
my
I can't
stream
wait.
schedule at joehills.net/soon. Can people find yours on your Twitch page?
Because I'm having stuff change and I'm in this new situation, I'm not setting anything up until I get rhythm. I need a couple of days to kind of figure everything out and get into a rhythm, but it'll most likely I stream when I can. So yeah.
That's fair.
Thank you.
Thank
you, chat.
Yeah, I'm gonna mention too. $5 a month gets you Discord access. $10 a month gets you access to my Minecraft servers via Patreon. Because Patreon bills at the first of the month. If you want to wait until the first to sign up, I don't mind. Feel free. But if you don't mind being billed today and again on the first, and then the first every month thereafter, feel free to sign up today. Okay. What else have we got? I feel like we posted the tipping link and kind of did last call for tips at 10:15. Yeah, because I knew we were.
Yeah, I think you did too.
I don't think I explicitly said last call for tips, but yeah.
You didn't, but I think people kind of figured it out.
Yeah, we're winding down. We're wrapping up. NJ, thank you so much for joining us tonight. This has been really helpful.
Thank you. I love getting to hang out with you and seeing how your brain works every time. It fascinates me.
I'm glad it doesn't infuriate you. That's how you know you have a good project manager, if they can tolerate you.
It takes a lot to infuriate me, Joe. You know
as a creative person, my brain is all over the place all the time. So, yeah.
Well, I mean, you like pinball. It makes sense.
Yeah. It's just bouncing off things that are lighting up. You know, since we already have heard Liara sneeze once, let's go ahead and raid Liara, who's doing Legos. Thank you all so much for hanging out. But yeah, this has been, I feel like, a really productive call, really productive stream.
I'm glad.
The real thing to look at is how do the results come out. I will warn you guys, the next few days are going to be kind of weird because schools are closed. There's ice everywhere. Like grocery shopping, things like that are going to be a whole thing. So please, as much as this pipeline revision is designed to accelerate video production, also know like Nashville is in a state of emergency where a third of the city doesn't have power 36 hours after a major storm right now. Yikes. So we're gonna get that's why I'm saying this is like going fully underway with this in February, because the next few days, like I said, we're doing fine. We have power, we have access to food, we have some pantry stuff. We're in good shape, but you know, just be aware that the next few days are not what you want to judge us on. It's the next few weeks. Alrighty. Well, thank you all so much again. Thank you, NJ. Any final words, NJ? It's about to auto-raid Liara.
Be excellent to yourselves and to each other.